All right. All right, power players. So I'm excited for this edition of SuperNova Sales School for a couple of reasons, but I've been watching lots of posts online and having so many discussions with entrepreneurs, and I'm consistently hearing, like, how do I find more comments? And I'm watching as people are completely overwhelmed with technology, the creation of funnels, the distraction of website creation, branding, posting on social media, and they're doing all of this stuff trying to get clients, including taking pictures with coffee cups because they see that people are doing that and they think it's going to work. And the one thing they aren't doing is making sales. So if you want the fast path to cash, the fast path to more clients, the fast path to growing your business, I'm going to give that to you today. And the truth of the matter is, it's really about connecting with people and picking up the phone, but I am going to give you a step-by-step model. So my desire today is to infuse you with the power to accelerate your income, to be fearless, and to make a difference for you, to make a difference for you, to make a difference for your life, to make a difference for your business. So we're knee deep into the third quarter, and I know it's like, third quarter, that sounds crazy. We're halfway through the year. And so today I want to laser focus you. It stresses me out to see so many people struggling to make these things work when they can really simplify it. So I'm hoping what I share today is going to basically be a key that really unlocks something in your mind. So you have to be open though and connected. So what I want you to do is I want to make sure you're engaged with me, that you're focused, that you're taking notes, and that you're not multitasking, because multitasking just doesn't work. This is not one of those trainings where I want you to sit and kind of listen mindlessly and hope that you gather some of it and think, oh, I'm going to go back and listen to the recording later. We're going to actively be doing things. So in order for me to know that you are with me, I want you to go to the Power Players community and post in there that I'm here. We're going to do just a little roll call and a couple of posts, and then I'm going to jump right in. So just say, I'm ready, Shameca, I'm here. And then use the hashtags today so I can go back through and look at what you guys wrote, like I always do, and kind of connect with you. Use the hashtag Power Players and the hashtag SuperNova Sales. I'm sorry, backwards. Sales Supernova. That's the hashtag you want to use. So the hashtag Power Player, the hashtag Sales Supernova. So I'm ready. I'm all in, whatever you want to say. So you're going to go to the Power Players group on Facebook and then use the hashtag Sales Supernova, hashtag Power Players. Okay? Why do I have you posting it? I said that, it's for you to be engaged, but it's also because our brains are consistently thinking thousands and thousands and thousands of thoughts on a regular basis. So you're not even paying attention, but your brain's somewhere else. So I want you focused, but also most of those thoughts are programmed towards the negative. So if I can keep you posting and engaged with me every few minutes or so, every 15, 20 minutes, as much as I possibly can without being disruptive, then that lets me know that you're here and you're not focusing on those negative thoughts. So I want you present to the possibility of what can happen for you and not the thoughts that are going on in your mind. So I'm going to spend about an hour training you today, and then I will stay a little bit later to open the lines for anybody who needs some laser coaching. I just feel like that's something I want to do today. So if you're here and with me live, this is going to be an opportunity for you. So I want you to get ready. If you have questions today, what I would like for you to do, because I have so much information that I want to get through, if you have questions today, post them in the chat for me, and I'll be checking the chat periodically, and I'll go through those questions at the end. So as things come up for you, just post, and then I'll go through each one of those questions and make sure they're answered at the end so that we don't stop the training. Let's see, what else do I want to say? All right, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go over here into the community and make sure I'm there and click off some of these screens so I'm not lost and see who's with me here. All right, so let's see what we got going on. I got Jillian saying, I'm here, I'm ready. Wendy, I'm ready. Let's see who else is with me. Teresa's having a problem. Give me a second, guys. Let me just give her I'm going to cut and paste this number since I'm in here and give it to her. Don't know what her problem is. Okay. All right. Anybody who has a desire to be here, I want them here. All right. Closing screens. So let's just jump in. There's a few things I want to go over because I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. So I know what it's like to be an entrepreneur, and you are like, it seems like a struggle. But today I want to really just open up and reveal the simplicity of business that you're likely overcomplicating. I'm really going to give you an opportunity to course correct where you are, because I get that as you're growing your business and you're not seeing the results that you want, you might be losing steam and getting a little weary. Okay, and that happens to us as entrepreneurial leaders. So here's what I'm going to do. You know what I want you to post? Post right now, I'm ready to pick up steam. And use the hashtag PowerPlayer Sales Supernova. I'm ready to pick up steam. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. Because some of you guys are on this cruise control, and I want to snap you out of that and put you in the market. Because here's what I know about you. You have the ability to really make an impact and dominate in the marketplace. You guys are powerful. If you're attracted to me, you are meant to do big things in the world, and you've just been operating at a level beneath what God has for you in your life. So I want you to get some traction. Somehow you feel like you can't get that traction that you need to get to the next level, and you've been searching. And what you need is you need help reigniting that loss, that power that you lost, and that frustration along your journey. I actually wrote a post about this that went out today. You know, the journey's been hard, and you've been carrying those losses with you. You've been carrying the voices that just yell at you, who do you think you are? You're carrying the remnants and the scars of your failures. You're carrying the remnants and the pieces of your journey into every conversation you have and every interaction in your business. And some of what you're carrying is blocking you. It's blocking you from selling yourself. It's blocking you from your capacity for implementation and action, superior execution, and the results that you want. And you are stuck. You're stuck at your current level of leadership. You're stuck at your current level of influence, your income, success. And so here's what I want you to know, and this was another post that I posted. This has just really been on my heart for the past couple of weeks. Action is the only thing standing between you and your greatness. If you're taking notes, which you should be, I want you to write that down. Action is the only thing standing between you and your greatness. I know this because I've been there. You know, most of you have heard my story. I won't get into it now because I have a lot of content that I want to give you, but I am the queen of trying again and failing and trying again and failing and looking like it's going to work this time and I'm going to be successful, and then falling again. I cannot count how many times I have had to dust myself off and try again. The bigger I played in the world, the harder I fell each time. And each time it was more difficult to be big, to play big, and try again at that level because my ego was bruised. And even though I was confident in myself and my abilities, and on the outside, deep inside in the back of me, the things I had buried and stuck down so that I could dust myself off and try again would always rear its ugly head. Okay? And at some point and on some level, deep inside of me, I was kind of expecting to fail. So I'd whisper and play small in the marketplace and pretend like I was doing big things. You know, I had champagne and caviar dreams, but was only holding the capacity for Spam and crackers. You guys get me? So my mouth and my heart and my being were saying one thing, but my actions were totally on a different level. And for some of you, that's the truth today. So I learned very quickly that it's not possible to grow like that. So here's what I want you to know, that it's time to up your game. I'm not playing anymore. I've been nice. I've been very nice to this point with everybody that's in the Power Playground. It's just time to up your game. It's past time to up your game. And here's one thing about the game. When you play in a game, in order for you to win, you have to play. You can't win if you're not playing. And see, some of you are sitting on the sidelines cheering. You know how when you're that ultimate fan, you're cheering like you're winning and perpetrating like you're putting in the work, but you're in the fans, you're in the stands. And when the game is over, you won't have a championship ring. Why? Because you didn't play. So posting on social media and, fixing your brand and making business cards and flyers and blogging is not going to get you a championship ring. And so I want to have a shift for you today. It is time to up your game. I want you to post that. You know what I want you to post? Not up your game. I want you to post, I came to win. Post that for me in the Power Players Playground. I came to win. One thing you got to know about this community is we're not sideline sitters and learners. I want you guys actively participating in what we're doing. So I want you to post that. I came to win. Hashtag Power Player and use the hashtag Sales Supernova for me. I came to win. Tell yourself that. Put the world on notice. I came to win. And if you're really looking to hit that next level in your business, you have to make some significant changes. So I always want to be transparent about what I did so that you can duplicate that. It's been a hard-fought road and a long road. So grab some pens, multiple if you need them, a pen and paper, and take notes on what I'm going to say. Because today I'm going to give you a step-by-step strategy. I promise you, step-by-step strategy. Okay? But I need to make a couple of things clear first because I want to make sure we're on the same page, and I want to make sure that you can take what I give you today and actually implement it and get some results. Because when I get into the training today, it's going to be simple and you're going to want to overcomplicate it. And it's these things that I'm showing you today that I need you to be on the same page with me in order for it to work. So the first thing is this, and write this down. You must always keep your inside game on point. What do I mean by that? If you don't do that, you're going to get stuck. So some of you are waiting for permission, and some of you don't believe. You don't believe. And for some of you, it's both. You're waiting on an invitation to play at the big kids table, to make it known that you have the goods, that you know your stuff, and you came to win. And the only reason why you are not making the money that you want in your business and seeing the success that you want is because you don't believe. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because I want to get into the training, but this can look like different things to you. It can look like different things for different people. The bottom line is you want it, you desire it, you can taste it, and you think you can do it. And it would be nice to have it, but you really don't believe that someone will pay you 5 figures to work with you. You really don't believe that you can make multiples of 6 figures or 6 figures is really possible for you. And here's how I know you don't believe, because you make excuses about how it's easy for this person or that person because they have all of these things and you don't have it, and you can come up with every reason why it's not for you. It is possible for everyone. There are billions of people on this planet. No one person has a corner on any market. So your belief is the faith that no matter what, you're going to succeed. No matter what comes your way, you won't quit. Being an entrepreneur is not easy, and I'm pretty sure it's not as easy as you thought it was going to be, but giving up, that's a coward's way out. Your belief is unshakable confidence that no matter what anybody else is doing to the left or the right, you can do it too. In fact, you can possibly do it better. You can do it better. So the only way for you to be successful and have that unshakable confidence is to focus on what you're doing. Don't be busy worrying about what everybody else is doing and jumping on other people's lists and checking out their webinars to see if they're teaching what you want to teach. Let that stuff go. Belief is acting from the place that you want to be and not from the place that you're currently in. I always hear people say things like, I can't afford it, or when I have the money, then I'll add someone to my team. When I have the money, then I'll pay somebody to do my graphics, or I'll invest in this, or I'll travel, or some of you are parallel and doing your day job. Whatever it is that you want to do, here's what you need to know. I learned this from one of my mentors because he talks about how he came to this country with a few bucks and he burned his return ticket, basically. He tore it up so that he couldn't get back to his country. He only had like $154. And so what I learned in that lesson and listening to him tell that story over the years, over and over and over again, is that if you have a safety net, you will use it. So get uncomfortable, stretch yourself. If you keep doing the same things over and over again, you're going to keep getting the same results. And if you're thinking to myself, Shameca, I've heard all this stuff before, I'm good with that, just get to the content, wait, I do believe in myself, but you still are not where you want to be, I want to challenge you to explore why. Because the truth is, when you are really 1000% wholeheartedly invested in something, you will do whatever it takes to make it happen. I want you to think of a time that you've done that. There was times that I walked miles to get to a job or to get somewhere because I didn't have a vehicle or a car or money for a bus. When you are 100% invested in something wholeheartedly, you will do what it takes to make it happen. I had children to feed. I had a daughter to feed. And so it was important to me to keep that job. Okay? You will work day and night if you have to. You'll be visible and put yourself out there, even if it makes you uncomfortable. You'll find the money you need to invest in yourself and your business. You will pick up the phone and call people to book speaking engagements, to get media exposure, to ask for business. You'll attend 3, 5, 10 networking events a week, whatever it takes, so that you can have the result that you want quicker, sooner, faster. Here's what I want you to post right now. Post, I believe. I believe. I believe, I believe, I believe. Post, I believe. Get that in your knower. The second thing that you have is you must master selling as a skill set. I hear people teaching, discovery sessions and teaching all of these ways to not look at sales and, let's call it an enrollment conversation. If I stand in the middle of the freeway, and I'm looking at my notes, I want to look at you guys. When I stand in the middle of the freeway or a highway, depending on where you guys are from. I'm from California, so I'm in America, so it's a freeway. When I stand in the middle of the freeway, I can stand there all day long, and there's a semi-truck coming towards me. I can say, it's not a truck, it's not a truck, it's not a truck all day long. But if that thing hits me, it is going to smash me and kill me, okay? It's a truck. Sales is sales. And Robert Kiyosaki said this, he said the ability to sell is the #1 skill set in business. If you cannot sell, then don't bother about becoming a business owner. That's what he said. And here's what you need to do. You need to unlock your insecurities around sales, negotiating, making deals, networking, so that your dream, the reason that you created your business, can actually come alive. Get over yourself. Okay? You're doing what you're doing to change lives, but the one thing that's causing you to fail is that you don't know how to sell. Because people tend to not look at themselves, people in business tend to not look at themselves as salespeople. However, sales is the #1 skill that every successful business owner has. And it's really that you have to know how to communicate well. That's all sales is really about. You have to know how to do it, yes, without sounding salesy, as everybody's always, pushing to you. But it's not even about that. More than that, you need to be able to communicate so that your ideal prospect not only gets it, but is willing to pay you a premium to experience it. Communication. And the good news is this: sales and selling is a skill. Learning how to communicate well is a skill, which means it can be taught, right? And then once you learn it, what you do from that point is we get you to practice it until it's so well ingrained in you that every part of your body knows it and it becomes an art form. So for some of you, you're just simply not having enough conversation. So maybe you've learned a system of selling or communication and you've got your message down, but you're not doing it enough so that you feel it on a visceral level and can really walk people through the decision-making process and help change their lives. Some of you go out and you have 1 or 2 conversations and then you start telling yourself this doesn't work or people don't want it. You must know your numbers and your conversion. And I'll get into that when I get into the steps that I'm going to teach you today to create your income acceleration plan. Listen, selling is not slimy, sleazy, or manipulative. Selling means that you've invested in the possibility for someone that they didn't know existed until you came along. And sales conversations are not really about selling at all. It's about changing lives. I want you to get that. When somebody comes to you, you're helping them buy into their bigger vision of themselves, the bigger version of themselves, their body, their health, their life, their leadership skills, their communication skills, whatever it is that you sell. Until someone is willing to have a conversation with you, they don't know that there are new levels and greater possibilities for them. And that's what sales is all about. And until you have a conversation with someone, until they hire you, you can't change their lives. You can't make a difference for them. See, we're trying to make a difference with our Facebook posts and our webinar, our free webinars. You can't make a difference until they hire you. You can open the window and open the door, but you can't make a difference until they hire you. Sales is a courageous process that requires you to step outside of your comfort zone. It requires you to shift how you show up in the world from the inside out. Okay? You need to invite someone to help you to master your communication and your sales skill set, and to help you create a step-by-step process that makes you comfortable to step out there and have that conversation with people. That conversation that makes a difference for others. That's what sales really looks like. The third thing that I want us to get on a baseline about today is you've got to take massive, inspired, consistent action. I'm going to say that again, because some of you are taking massive action and some of you are taking inspirational action, but it's not consistent, or all three are not together. So massive, inspired, consistent action. So not a little bit of action that's inspired and consistent, not massive inspired action that's not consistent. Massive, inspired, consistent action. You get results based on your actions. This has been a hard-fought, hard-learned lesson for me. Your actions come from your feelings, and your feelings come out of your thought, which is why we start at number 1. Right? This is where most of you aren't seeing results. You got to keep your inside game on point, because it affects every part of your sales and your business. Every result in your business is a result of your thoughts and what's going on in your head. And once you know what holes you have within yourself and what's really stopping you from taking that giant leap forward to going after those bigger clients and higher level, higher caliber clients, to going after corporate accounts, whatever it is that you want, that's when you can move forward. So it takes a mental shift before you can set a higher level of execution. See, you skip step 1 and 2, you don't get the mental shift, you don't have the skill set, and then you run out just doing a bunch of actions that aren't going to bring you any return on the investment. Okay, so what I want to do is work with you on the mental shifts, and once you have that breakthrough, that you can charge more, that you can go after a higher caliber of clients, that you can have powerful conversations, then I'll show you the system for you to do that and do it with simplicity so that you can fill your programs. You with me? Now we can implement. Now we can implement a step-by-step strategy like the one I'm going to give you today. You need step-by-step systems and processes to help you grow and to help your business grow. And then eventually, when you're financially successful enough, to help you add staff. Okay, and here's how simple that is. Okay, if you know, and I really want you guys to listen when I say this, if you know that when you go speak or when you step onto a stage, that you can enroll 10 people into a $1,000 program, why wouldn't you do that 4 times within a month and make $40,000? See, for most people, what happens is we keep recreating the wheel. We have success with one program. We're like, oh, I need to add another one and add another one. And that takes us off our game. And now we're in a learning curve and recreating new websites, new launches, all kinds of things. And we're stuck. If you know that you could host a webinar, and from that online training, you can book 20 one-on-one consultations or sales conversations, and that you can convert 10% of those into clients. So you get 2 people, right, that are willing to work with you out of that into a $1,000 program, and you want to make $20,000 a month, then how many times would you need to do that webinar? So I want you to start thinking like that and keeping it simple. Focus on one thing. Don't have this 5 million suites of things. And once you get that system in place, you can create a new system. So you can have one system that's for a webinar, you know how that looks and what that works like. And when that's running like a well-oiled machine, you have one for when you go out and speak, and now you focus on that, and you have that running like a well-oiled machine. And then you have one for networking, and then when you work that, you have that going like a well-oiled machine. That's where your money comes from. So it's your inside game, your skill set, which I would call your outside game, and then the action. Massive, inspired, consistent action, which is your step-by-step, repeatable process. And if you're just starting out, you want to focus on one and then add others. You can do one multiple times in a month. You don't have to just do it once a month. You know, we're creative and we like to jump all around. And like I said, I had to learn that the hard way. Be consistent. So yes, you want to be in implementation mode and taking inspired action, but you also want to be in what I call superior execution. And that means doing it from your zone of profit, not where you have to be in a learning curve. That means you are doing the highest revenue producing activities for you and how God designed you, who you are by design. Okay? So today I want to ask a couple of questions and then we're going to just jump right in. So the key question that I want to ask you today, what is the number one thing? I normally ask like, what's the breakthrough that you need today? But what's the number one thing that you need to know about sales that will make a difference for you and your business? And I want you to post it in the playground. What's the number one thing that you need to know about sales that will make a difference for you? And I want you to post that in the Power Playground. Make sure you hashtag Sales Supernova and Power Players. What's the number one thing that you need in sales or need to know in sales that will make a difference for you and your business? So that could be, you know, how do I make more money selling my higher end solutions? It could be all kinds of things. Let me give you an example. That's like one of the number one things that I hear people saying, like, I can't find myself offering my higher level program. I'm always offering my lower level program. And this is really why the top two that I just gave you out of those three things is really important. Really, it's about you putting forward the thing that you want your clients to pay the most attention to. And I don't want to go into detail about how that works on this. But whatever you want your clients to focus on, that's what you want to put forward. And a lot of times we have this fear of loss. So let's say we're doing one-off sessions and I say, okay, package up your services and sell it for a higher dollar amount, or focus on your higher end service. We're afraid that we're going to lose business or lose income. And so we don't want to not focus on the lower end offering. Well, if you give somebody an option to pay you $500 or $10,000, they're going to take the $500 option no matter what. And I catch myself doing that sometimes too, just thinking I want to catch people on the lower end. And I get called on it by my coaches too. So I'm sharing this with you because I know that it can happen, which is why it helps to have another set of eyes. So put in front of your clients that thing that you want. So what else? It could be positioning. It could be that you're feeling manipulative about sales. It could be knowing how to have the conversation. It's really imperative for you to understand what it is that you need that will help you get to the next level in sales. So is it scripting that you need support with? Do I need to really look at my pyramid or my profit pyramid or my menu of services and really hone in on what is it that I'm offering? So what do you need? Is it follow-up? You know, for a lot of people, follow-up can be a big deal. I want you to think about this. Statistics show that 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. 25% make a sales contact, only 25% second contact, and then they stop. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts, and then they stop. And then there's only 10% of salespeople, which you guys are all salespeople. If you're in business, you're in sales. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts, right? So what that means is that 80% of sales are made on the 5th to the 12th contact with the client. So who do you have? Here's a way to accelerate your sales right now. Who do you have that's reached out to you, who told you they were interested in, that you haven't reached out to, that you haven't followed up with for that second, that third, that 5th, that 12th time? And if you're having issues with follow-up, this is what that means for you. You're leaving money on the table, because 8 out of 10 of your sales are going to come from repeat touches to clients. So what's the greatest challenge that you face when it comes to sales? And I want you to post it in the playground. All right, so the last thing that I want you to consider before we jump into this is like, what's the sales number or the income number that you can create in your business that would scare the heck out of you? Like literally make you go, oh my God, this is fierce. What's that number? What's that number? I want you to write it down. And, you know, I used to do this, and a lot of people do that. I was like, oh, if I can make $1 million in my business, that would be scary. And while that number can be scary, it's not smart. So I want it to be smart and scary. Does that make sense? Okay. So what does that look like for you? So if you're making $2,000 a month right now, your smart, scary number, or your big goal, your bold goal for your income would be to add a zero. So that would mean you would go from 2,000 to 20,000. If you're only making $200 a month, that would mean you would go from $200 to $2,000. Does that make sense? Are you with me? Let me make sure I don't have anything going on in chat. All right. So you want to set smart, scary numbers. All right. And then I want you to think about, so I want you to pick a number that's scary for you, still has you shaking in your boots a little bit, but it's probable that it can happen with a few tweaks of your behavior. Okay. And then what's one positive thing that you can tell yourself about that number that will drive your actions? Okay. Is it that I know I can do this? I can really see myself doing this. I can actually calculate how easy and simple that would be for me. If I add a team member, I can do this. I can do it if I add a buy-when date, and that will drive my actions. So write down a positive thought that you can tell yourself, or just write down something, write down right now, I need a positive thought to support this number, and then you can go back later and kind of review it. Okay, now let's go deeper than that. The second thing I want you to do with this number before we drive into the how-tos is, what's a negative thing that you might be telling yourself that, despite the positive nature of your thinking, like you might be telling yourself, it's too hard, I don't know how to make it happen, it'll take too much time. I want you to write down what that negative thing is. And I want you to investigate that, because I have a powerful belief, and what I know for sure is that sales and success is never an accident. It's the result of intentional planning, a clear and focused mind, and your willingness to overcome your number one objection, which is not, I can't afford it. Your number one objection is not, I need to think about it, from your clients. Your number one objection is you. So if you take some time to really dig deep and investigate and evaluate how you feel and what you think, and what you think about what you feel, you'll actually discover a level of performance within you that you had never had before. So don't skip this step, okay? The process of selling inspires your passion, and it helps you to become obsessive because you're helping someone else with your product and service, and that's what it should really be about, whatever your solution is. When you really get into sales for the reason that it's about, which is changing people's lives, it's not about pitching, closing, making offers, it's changing people's lives. You're giving them an opportunity to do that. You become a supernova. That's why I use Sales Supernova. Explosive, on fire, tenacious. At the end of the day, I want you to know that sales is the ultimate vehicle for results in your business, because it gets you from where you are to where you want to be, but you must be willing. Okay? You must be willing. You must be willing and be so overcome with a desire to see others win with that service, that program, that solution that you offer, that you are not willing to stop until you win. That's what this is about. I'm taking a stand for you. You have to take a stand for your client. You must be willing to create the time to do the things that matter and that count. Not the things that make you feel good about yourself, or that make you comfortable, or that make you feel busy, or that you are a business owner. You see my quotes? Not those things, the things that matter and count. And making sales is like number one on the list. Having sales conversation, number one on the list. Active marketing to go get a client, number one on the list. You must be willing to shift the way you view sales, and then you must be willing to go beyond where you are and go where you've never gone before, so that you can create a result that you've never had. Are you willing? That is my question. Are you willing? All right, I think you're ready. So let's go. So today I'm going to show you this rinse and repeat revenue model that you can use over and over again to create predictable results, and it is quite simple. So what I want to tell you about this revenue model being simple, don't muck it up, okay? Don't complicate it. It is very simple. A number per month. Yes, Jillian, I would say a number per month or year, whatever makes for you. Wendy's laughing at me. Don't muck it up. Yeah, don't muck it up. All right, so let me find my sheet. So here's the funny thing about this. If you've been in the Power Playground for a little while, what I'm going to teach you today, you already have access to. It's in the file section of the playground, but I told you guys when I gave you all that material for free in the Power Playground that some of you wouldn't even realize the diamonds that you had in front of you because you're not ready to see it yet. All right, so I think this is the one. Yeah, okay. So there's two documents. I'm going to pull up my screen so that you can see them, but also you'll be able to go back and pull these up. And I'll probably rework these and turn them into something different. But yeah, you already have this. So let me share my screen so you guys can see this. So I want to start with, actually, before I start with the 5K action plan, let's start with your power message. And so what I really want you guys to know is that your power message is a place that you really want to start with everything. And your power message could be like what you call your 60-second intro. For me, it's a little bit more than that. On this, it's called a networking hook template. I've called it a captivation statement, but it's the foundation of your business. Once you script out this, you kind of get an idea of what you're helping clients with, and everything else you build, including your products and services, your profit pyramid, stems around how you help people. Okay, so once you know this and you understand the why behind it, it makes a lot more sense. All right, so I'm going to show you the screen. And okay, I think that's this one. All right, so my screen's up. And so what I have, there's so many different ways you can do this, okay? I'm not gonna go into some of the other ways of like, there's some silver bullets you can do, there's different ways you can do it, but the message is usually always the same. I'm gonna do this way because it makes you think a little bit more, but here's what I want you to know. I want you guys to think in results, not benefits, not features. I want you to think in results. I want you to think in feeling type results, a results that's going to allow your client to get to a certain emotion when they hear what you say. That's going to have them raise their hand and self-select. Hey, I want to talk to you. I want to have a deeper conversation with you. I want to work with you. So here's the 5-step formula for this power message. Okay, so you're going to work on this. And what I want you guys to do, for the next 7 days, you can post any step to this process in the Power Playground, and I will review and give you feedback. Okay? So I help, show, teach, whatever word that you want to use, empower, enlighten, you can, whatever works for you. And then who your ideal client is. Okay? So with your ideal client portion, I want you to go beyond women, men. Okay? Go, who are they? How do they show up in the world? So who do you help? And then what's the problem that they want solved? I'm going to say that again. Not the problem that you solve. What's the problem they want solved? That's step 2 of your process. So what are they leaving? What are they moving away from? Let me make sure you guys can even see this. Sometimes I don't put it in the right spot. What are they moving away from? What are they avoiding? So who are having a hard time with, who are struggling with, and I'll give you some examples, but be very specific in describing the situation they find themselves in. And then your next step is so they can what? So what do they want? What are their deepest desires? And this is really where the emotional part comes in. What are they moving towards? So in this step 3, you want to try to name a positive change that they will experience in their day-to-day life. And make sure it's very emotional for them. Why? Because people buy based on emotion and we back it up with logic. See, we're trying to sell people our, step-by-step system, our 3-day action plan, our discovery sessions. They don't want that and they don't care about that, which is why people aren't biting what you're selling. They're not biting your hook. Okay? So once you get that, so they can XYZ, now you're going to add a little in 30 days, in 50 days, or add something to that, or without. So like for me, I can put, they can, this is not even a good example, but double their income in, 60 days or less, 6 months, turn their monthly income into so you can do that, or without sounding salesy, without feeling pushy, or while doing something else. So this is a really good deep descriptor for people that they are in it, and visually and emotionally they can feel it, see what you're trying to explain to them about what you do. And then the 5th part of this would be an optional finish when you're talking to someone is, do you know anyone? Do you know anyone who? And you can repeat the whole thing again. Okay, so I want to show you what this looks like when it's tied together. It's right there. It's a very powerful script. Now, here's what happens in the very beginning of this process. When you're out networking or someone says, what do you do? How do you help people? You feel awkward about saying this statement because everybody else is saying, I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, I'm a graphic designer, I am a social media coach, I am a health coach. People are saying I am and what they do, and you don't want to be the oddball that takes long to say this long, ridiculous, drawn-out sentence. But I will tell you that every time I do this, especially when I go networking, I am the one who has a line of people waiting to talk to me. Everybody else has crickets. So you can either follow the crowd or you can do what works. The choice is yours. So it looks like this. I help XYZ who are having problems with or struggling with or who cannot something, so they can XYZ without ever having to leave their house. Okay? And there are some examples of how this works. I won't go through them all because you actually have this document. Like I said, I gave this document to you guys probably over a month ago in the file section. Okay, but this portion of it is super important. So I want to start here. Here's the mistake that we make when it comes to sales and building our business. We need to work backwards, whether you're building a presentation for speaking or your offer that you're going to offer people. Not your offer, but a presentation for speaking or this power statement. You need to know what you're selling first and then work backwards. Okay, so that's why I want you to start with what's the problem that I solve. Now we can put a package around it. Now that once I teach you how to put a package around it, now you can put a sales presentation together. Now you can put your signature talk or your power message together, your power presentation or your power talk together, where you can go out and do it on a webinar. But you can't do that until you package your programs first. It's not the other way around. It's not put the signature talk together and now figure out what I'm selling. You figure out what you're going to sell first and you reverse engineer everything, your marketing, your Facebook posts, your social media posts. Everything gets reverse engineered to support the offer. For some people, that's an aha moment. All right. Let's see what's going on in the playground. I'm going to move on to the other steps because you guys are posting away and nobody wants to see me today. I'm like on video by myself. It's okay. I get distracted looking at your faces. Hi, guys. Thank you. Hey, Joe, nice haircut. All right, so let's see what's going on here. All right, I see your numbers. Jillian's bold. She put hers all the way out there. Awesome, 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 awesome. Hey, Lisa. See those numbers? All right, cool. All right, Focus, Shameca. Okay, so want to make sure you guys can see me. So this is really, you can use this to create $5,000. So remember what I said about, let me roll it down. It's probably too high now that I think about it. Remember what I said about a rinse and repeat model, a rinse and repeat revenue model. Once you do this, you just do it over and over again. So a lot of times people just try to go out, I want to make this package and that package. So you want to first decide what's the program that you're offering. What am I offering? So is it a jumpstart? Is it a VIP day? Is it a 90-day intensive? Is it like a high-end one-on-one program that's for 6 months or 12 months? You make that decision. Okay, so a jumpstart is typically, you know, a 30-day or a 60-day program. It could be group or it could be one-on-one. My suggestion to you, if you don't have clients right now, don't try to launch a group program. Start with one-on-one, and I want you to write this down and post it somewhere. If this is you and you don't already have 6 to 8 private clients that you work with, start there. Start there. And depending on your numbers, you can go as low as 3. So if you're selling ultra high end, which I would say $10,000 or more, which isn't ultra high end, but if you're selling high end, I'll even back it down to 5,000. So if you're selling high end, you can probably do it with 3 clients. Probably more like 10,000, 3, because you want to have a cushion where you're not struggling with money before you start trying to launch a group program where you have to put 10 people at $500. Does that make sense? So decide what program you're offering. If you don't have clients or you have very little clients, go after one-on-one clients first. Okay? Then name your program with a results-based title. So don't name your program, you know, my 6-week, just ridiculous. I've seen crazy names, or you just say, oh, I have a 6-week coaching program. Well, no one's buying that, right? But if you name it with the results-based title, so like here I have lose weight like a celebrity. So I've given you several formulas that you can choose. You want your clients to already, when they hear your program, they already know the result they're going to get. Okay, they already know the result they're going to get. My title is not as fancy, probably not as strong as I want it to be, but people know that by coming to my one-day event, they're going to learn to sell more. It's just called Sell More. That's it. Sell More. It's the one-day intensive. So there's different ways you can put this formula in here, but don't skip this process too. Again, we feel awkward and weird, and so we want to name our programs. We're like, oh, the name's too long. Yeah, the name's too long for you to probably say, which you can shorten when you say it, but when people see it, they know exactly what they're going to get if they buy it without you having to tell them a long, drawn-out story. So you want to use one of these formulas and name your program a results-based title. Okay? Again, over the next 7 days, you get your plan together, you can post it, and I will help you tweak it so that it really communicates well what you're trying to do. So the next step in this process, and what I'm giving you, this is everything you need to start making sales today. So if you do this today, this can be, it's your choice. It can be a 7-hour plan where you get it done in 7 hours. It can be a 70-minute plan where you take 10 minutes to do each one of these steps. It can be a 7-day plan, or it can be a 7-year plan. This is all you need to make sales. The choice is yours how fast it happens. Everything else, you know, website, business cards, woo-foo forms, none of that stuff is necessary. This is what's necessary, what I'm giving you right here. Now you want to name your sales conversation. So you don't want to just say, hey, let's have a free, let me do a 30-minute free consult with you and let's see if you're ready for my program. Or let me give you a free session, taster session, so you can figure it out. You don't want to say, you don't even say, let's do a discovery session. Why? Because discovery session is tired, time out. Nobody wants to do one anymore because they feel like they're not going to get any value from it. And they may feel like all you want to do is sell them, which is okay. You know, it is a sales conversation with you, and you're going to let them know this conversation is for us to determine whether or not you're a good fit to work with me. But you want to name it a results-based title. So you can call it the Lose Weight Like a Celebrity Breakthrough Session, the Fabulous Over 50 Breakthrough Session, the Weight Loss Resistance Discovery Session, or you can just call it a session. I like to take the word strategy, breakthrough, and discover out of it and say, you know, right now I'm scheduling for my play big sessions. I have 5 openings for a play big session. And I just offer that for people for sell more, you know, sell more high-end session, whatever it is, but it needs to be, again, a results-based title. I just did this with one of the people in the Power Playground, and we did a celebrity branding session, and their program title is Brand Like a Celebrity. So we named their program title Brand Like a Celebrity, and we created their sales conversation that they're going to invite people to, whether it's by voice, email, web page, a celebrity branding session. Got it? So the clients understand they're going to the session to figure out how they can brand themselves like a celebrity and what are their next action steps to do that. Once you get that part done, and I want to be clear about this, do not skip around and go, oh, I don't feel comfortable, I don't know what I'm doing yet, and then go down to step 6 and try to do step 6. Do this stuff in order, or else you're just going to get in the same stuck zone that you've been in. The next thing you need to do is determine your pricing. Just stick a number on it, people. Okay, your pricing is based on the value that your clients are going to receive. Actually, let me change that. It is based on the value that your clients are going to perceive. Let's say that. It's how they see it. Joe, I can't look.
Dropping dimes.
It's the value that your clients are going to perceive. You get that? How they see it as value, what's valuable to them, not the fact that you look at it and go, well, if I give them this and I give them 2 hours of this and then I add a course to it, then it's, you know, that's probably worth about $500. That's not how you calculate it, okay? I did give you a little formula here that you can, because I want you to check yourself before you put a price on it. Because I've seen people put a price on stuff and it's like, okay, you're gonna work with the client for 5 hours. You do realize that's about 20 bucks an hour. You can go work at a retail store and do that. You don't have to be a business owner to do that. So I want you to check and make sure that you are earning at the level one that you need to earn. But here's another pricing mistake that I see people make. And I learned this from my mentor a long time ago, that sometimes we price ourselves out of being able to provide the client with the right experience for the level that they're investing in and mistakes that we make so that we can course correct. So if you don't charge enough, and then you realize, oh, wow, this client really needs X, Y, Z to be supported. Now you don't have enough funds in there to course correct and provide them with that worthwhile experience. All right, so more than this formula being to determine the price, this is to double check the price and make sure that it feels good for you. Once you've set the price, then you want to go through and say, okay, this means I would be making, you know, $50 an hour, $100 an hour. If you're on this call, that number should not be under $100. I'm gonna let that sink in for a minute. The number should not be under $100, and $100 is still low for most of you because most of you are well educated, well experienced, well rounded, and you, excuse my French, you kick ass at what you do. Quit underestimating yourself. Okay? So once you know that, your next step, once you have your pricing, is how am I going to accept payment? You want to be able to accept payment on the call, not send them an invoice so they have to complete it. And determine, do you want to take checks from people? Are you able to take cash if you're a brick and mortar and people are coming to you? How are you able to accept payment? Okay, so once you determine your pricing, how are you able to accept payment? The other thing about pricing too that I didn't say is, are you going to be offering a payment plan? You need to be clear on what that is. And what does that look like? And it's the same for everyone. Don't change it from person to person. Okay, and there's some ways that I go deep on pricing that I'm not going to do today because I want this to be simple for you guys right out there. So is it a one? If it's under $500, if it's $500 or lower, I'm going to encourage you, especially if you're trying to up level your clientele, to not offer payment plans for something that's $500. You know, typically $1,000 and below, you don't really want to offer payment plans. That would be like a special thing. You come back and say, you know what, I've decided to offer a payment plan. But if it's above $1,000, then you can start looking at, well, how do I want to split this out? Okay. So decide how you want to make payments, be very clear. I mean, decide how you want to accept payments and make sure it's a way that you can actually run it. So I'm going to give you a couple of tools for those of you who may not have this set up. Maybe you're using PayPal links or you've been invoicing people. And let me just check chat really quick. Can I check chat from where I am? I don't think I can. I don't know how. Not while I'm sharing my screen. Okay.
When you're sharing the screen, you click more, and then you can see that it says chats and it pops up, but it's nothing important. It's nothing important. It's just me.
It's you. Okay. Thank you. By the way, Joe is the one who introduced me to this platform, so he's now training me how to use it while I'm doing it, and I love it. It's Zoom, by the way. So, okay. So, tools that I want to give you. Sorry, guys. Tools and resources. I want to give you Moon Clerk. Is a great tool to use. It just links right up with your bank account, and it's easier for you to accept payments on than you can on PayPal, because PayPal, people can cancel their payments and there's nothing you can do about it. But on Moon Clerk, it's an actual agreement that it continues to accept the payment. It'll keep trying for a few times. Okay, so Moon Clerk is one. You can do PayPal, but my suggestion with PayPal is that if you send them a link, you keep them on the phone until they process the payment, and then let them go. Okay, so decide how you want to accept payment. All right, let's see what I got in chat. Cool. Okay, so the next step here is determine how many sales conversations you need to have to generate. This is where the majority of you are failing epically, okay? Because you're like, oh, I got my program, I got my pricing, and every day your feet hit the ground and you're like, okay, I need to work and get clients. But you don't know what the goal is. You don't know what you need, and that's based on your conversion rate. So my conversion rate is about 40%. It's between 40 and 50%. It's probably a little bit higher. I would say on sales conversations, it's about 30%. In a room, it's pretty close to 50%. I have had some 100% conversions. What that means is for every amount of people that I talk to, X amount of people are going to say yes. If you don't know that number, an average number to use is about 20%. That means you're doing a good job. So if you're just starting out and you feel like you're having anxiety about sales or you're not really good at making offers, you want to go with a 10% number so that you're talking to more people. So let's call your conversion 10%. If you've been training with me for a while and you have a flow for your sales conversations, you've learned my I serve message, you've learned the way that I teach you how to do sales conversations, then you want to at least put it at 20% unless you actually know your numbers. You use my process, 20% is going to be easy for you. Okay? If you don't, use 10%. So you're going to start with, how much money do I want to make? So let's look at this on a monthly basis. So let's say you want to make $10,000 in revenue. So if you want to make $10,000 in revenue this month, now you're going to be looking at, well, how many clients is it going to take me to get there? Well, that depends on what your program costs. So if your program is a $5,000 program, you need 2 clients to make $10,000 in revenue. Everybody with me? Now, if my conversion rate is 10% and I need 2 clients this month, how many sales conversations do I need to have? So for every 10 people, 1 person is going to say yes. You need to have 20 sales conversations this month to make your $10,000. This is where most of you are epically failing in your business. Because it's not just about going out and finding clients. You have a number of appointment slots you need to fill. Now you know I need 20 appointment slots filled. Now everything that you do, every breath you take, every move you make, I'm singing the song, I'll be watching you every step. Okay, sorry, I digress. So everything that you do in your business, you are focused on getting 20 people into those conversation spots. Every marketing piece you put out is, hey, this is what I'm doing. And you know you're getting 20 people. You have those 20 conversations, most likely, more than likely, you're going to surpass that income goal, but you're going to hit your income goal. Now, if you only talk to 5 people this month total, I mean, the month of July just ended. Think about it. How many sales conversations did you have? 4, 5, 10? This is where you're failing. It's not in your branding. It's in the activities that you're doing to generate these sales conversations and knowing how many you must have on a monthly basis. That is a ka-ching moment for most of you guys. And I'm going to give you a strategy, the one strategy that you can follow this week, this month, and every month after that, a rinse and repeat model for getting these 20 conversations, if that's your number. Everybody's number is going to be different, okay? And you're going to focus on one program. Okay, don't focus on, well, do you want my $500 program? And if you don't want that, you can take my 10. Focus on one program. So I know I'm using my $10,000 program. I need 20 conversations and 2 people to say yes. A lot of you beat yourself up at this point because you have 4 or 5 conversations and you're not getting enough clients. And that's what you say, I don't have enough clients. You're not offering your services to enough people. And when you do offer it, they're not saying yes because you don't have a model to follow a flow for your sales conversation that is powerful, that empowers you to help your clients make a decision through the decision-making process and inspires them to actually make a decision. And you need that, okay? Okie dokie. All right, hokey pokey. So here's what I'm giving you. I'm going to give you this personal email strategy. You have it here. What I'm going to tell you to do is, what you want to do is take this and pretty much use this kind of word for word, but plug in the things, and I probably should go in here and put brackets around the things you want to change, but plug in the things that make sense for your business and what you're offering. Don't make up your own email. Don't change this drastically because you want to be cute. This email is psychologically written to work. Okay? And I've put some reasons why underneath here. But here's the other thing I want to tell you. I don't want you starting with the email. See, this is the chicken's way out. This is why you guys are still saying, I don't have enough clients, I don't have enough sales, because you're behind your computer, emailing and blogging and biting your nails, hoping that people are going to grasp on to something that you have. I want you to step outside of your comfort zone, and the rinse and repeat strategy that I'm going to give you today is networking. So you can have a rinse and repeat strategy around speaking, networking, around all kinds of things, email. Some of you guys are trying to do all the strategies together and thinking that they're all one strategy, but they're not. Okay? So, but this personal email template, if you have a list, so for those of you who actually have a list, or you at least have a couple of 100 people that you could send this to where they would actually open it. I mean, email open rates are so low. I would say you would need to have at least 500 people. But you could send it if you had a couple of 100. And hope, or you have a really close knit list of people that really respond and open everything that you send, then send this out. But don't make this the only thing that you do. This is one way how. Okay? All right, so let's go back to the real nitty gritty of this. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. So here's the nitty gritty of this, and then I'm gonna open up for Q&A. This is the rinse and repeat model. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you a step-by-step rinse and repeat model, a simple pre-qualifying system so that when you go out and network, or you're at a party, or you're in a community where you're talking to people who could possibly be your clients, you can take them directly from having a conversation to you into having a sales conversation into making your offer. Okay, and it's going to make sure that you're attracting the right clients into your sales conversation, which is why we started with the power message, because that's the first filter. It gets them to raise their hand and say, I'm interested, tell me more about that. Okay, so, and then I'm going to teach you how to automate your scheduling just a little bit, but you don't even have to automate it. You can do it by hand. Just have it on hand so that you can do it, because it's going to set you up to look like you know your stuff. It's going to set you up as the authority. It's going to bring value to these conversations, your benefits-based name sales conversations, so that people go, oh, I don't want to miss that. See, I don't have no shows on my sales conversations. People get that it's valuable and that they're going to get something out of it because I have an entire process that they go through in the beginning to get there. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this. The only thing that's missing in this is the application process. And when you're trying to accelerate your revenue, you don't want to put up that filter in the beginning. Okay, just filter with your messaging. If they apply via your messaging and they raise their hand via your messaging, that's a good enough filter right now because you need to practice. Remember I said you need to be having lots and lots and lots of these conversations, so let's just have them, okay? So what that means for you is that you're going to have more ideal high-paying clients that come in without overwhelming your schedule, and really you're not going to feel insane about where I'm getting clients from. So you know your numbers now, you know how many you need to schedule. You can actually put the dates in if you want to, wherever you want to, and let people know, here's what I have available. You can fit into one of those slots for this month because I only have 20 slots available. I'm only doing 20 of these free every month, whatever you need. For some of you, if your numbers are higher, it might be 15, whatever you need. But then know that you can course correct too now that you know your numbers. You're 2 weeks into it and you've only had 5 conversations. You're off track for your numbers and you know that, okay? All right. So let's see what I want to share with you. Okay, so I'm going to give you this little script here. I'm actually just going to read it off this worksheet because it's so well written. Okay, so let's say you're a health coach and you've titled your sales conversation, Lose 5 Pounds Fast Breakthrough Session. I'm going to take the breakthrough out. I'm going to say my Lose 5 Pounds Fast session, okay? So let's say, for an example, that you're at a local networking event and you meet Jane, a prospective client, and Jane asks you, what do you do? So again, this is that awkward moment where you want to just say, I'm a health coach. I help people lose weight. Don't do it. Use your power message, okay? Use your networking hook, okay? And so now you're going to give her your networking hook, and you're going to say, I help women lose 5 pounds fast without calorie counting, dieting, or deprivation. Got it? And then Jane says, oh, wow, I so need that. I've been trying to lose 5 pounds fat. I've been trying to lose 5 pounds forever. And I'm totally afraid I will seriously never be able to do it. And then you say, girl, it does not have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way at all. I know way too many awesome women who are terrified that they'll never lose 5 pounds fast. And that's what led me to create what I call the Lose 5 Pounds Fast Breakthrough Session. Course session. Okay, so I'm just showing you how it works in conversation. And then I just say, well, when do you want to schedule? Because even though I just met you, I can totally tell you're too awesome to be tortured by a measly 5 pounds. Okay, so use this script and apply it to your business. Figure out how to have these conversations where you don't sound cheesy. Well, let me schedule you for one of my sessions. And then she says, I need you to do it ASAP. I really need to lose 5 pounds. That's just for me, right? And then you say, great, this is how it works. So now you become the leader. So remember what I said. There's 2 things that I say. Every call needs a leader, and that leader is who? It's you. Every business needs a leader, and that leader is you. So now you take on the leadership role. You're not like, oh, okay, well, whenever you're ready, or, just give me a call. You say, here's how it works. It's really simple. And you're going to love this because I take care of everything for you. Give me your email address. And then they start giving you the email address. And you say, great, okay. Now, if you have your smartphone, what I would like for you to do is, and you should, because I don't even carry business cards. This is what I do, guys. I haven't carried business cards in almost 4 years. This is what I do. I pull out my smartphone and my calendar, and I say, give me your email address. And I actually send them the prepping for their session email, which is attached to the other thing that I'm going to give you guys, the 5 that you have. The prepping for your session email is there. I send them that on the spot. So for those of you who aren't set up with automation like MailChimp or Infusionsoft or some software like that, don't get your panties all in a twist. Okay, what you can do is go into your email account on your phone and create a draft or a template that you save, and then you just plug in their email address, pull it up and plug in their email address every time you need to use it and send it to that person. Huh, aren't I smart? That way you're not messing around with tricky technology. You're in money-making mode. You don't have time for that. Now, if you have a MailChimp already set up, you want to create a way that you can just go in. So I literally will pull up my email. I can't even think what it's called right now, but where I hold all my clients in my email and put their name, I'll add them to the list, and the email just goes out automatically. I'll tell them you'll get it in about an hour. Within the next hour, you'll get it, okay? So you say, give me your email address, and then right now as they're giving you the email address, you're pulling up that letter, and you say, so I sent you a welcome letter, a welcome email, and it has 2 things in it, okay? So first, there's a few questions that you can answer and send back to me before our session so that you can really get the most out of our time together. And then second, there's a link to my calendar so you can pick a time that works for you. So I usually take it a step further. Yes, there's a link to my calendar in that email for them, but I also go ahead and schedule them right then and there. You got your calendar, I got my calendar, okay, let's see what works for you. So the email's gonna say, this is why I'm telling them, I'm still in scripting mode. The email's gonna tell you to go to my calendar and put a date on the calendar. You can skip that part, but I need you to do the other 2 things that are on there, okay? We've already put you on my calendar, so you don't have to worry about that, all right? So, and if you do it the other way where they do it on the link, I totally know that I have openings this week and you're in luck, okay? My suggestion is that you schedule it on the spot. They're engaged. So what just happened in this conversation? Let me just make sure you guys are still with me. All right, so here's what just happened in this conversation. You're leading the potential client into your container, and you're doing it in a couple of ways. So you have now established yourself as an authority. You have given yourself credibility. You know your stuff. Oh my gosh, she has a process. Nobody else is doing this, right? So which weight loss consultant do you think they will want to work with? The one that says, here's my card, give me a call someday, or the one that says, hey, I got this lose 5 pounds fast session, and we can get started on you losing your 5 pounds today, and it's no cost to you. And it's the sales conversation, okay? So here's how you're leading the client into your container. You met them at a networking event, okay? You shared your power statement, which allows her or him to self-select to see if they have the problem that you solve. And then you invite them into your sales conversation with the super cool name. And then you sent them an email that will further pre-qualify them for you before your sales conversation session, right? Along with the simple intake form or questionnaire that helps weed out people who aren't really the right clients for you. Okay? And I use the same system in my own business. And I put everything's here for you. So the prepping for your session email is here. How to set yourself up. It's showing you how this whole process establishes you as a leader. What's the other thing that you've done? In that prepping for your session email, which is also in these documents that are in the Power Playground already, you basically have set up a system where it basically, like I said, elevates you. So it's all there. So there's 2 things you can do to automate this process, but you don't have to do. That's set up your email calendar. A calendar they can go through using Time Trade. I use You Can Book Me. So there's 3 systems you can use. Do whatever works best for you. Time Trade is one you can use. I think the training that I have, because it's a little older, it walks you through how to set up Time Trade. So if that's easier for you, because I've given you the steps on how to do it, then do that. You Can Book Me is the one that I use most of the time, and then Book Me Now is another one. And all of those are .com. So timetrade.com, you can book.me, and bookmenow.com. So you can book.me, timetrade.com, which is in the training here. Okay, so if you're looking for a 6-figure sales strategy, this is like exactly how a new client rolls into your business. This is one system. This is one revenue rinse and repeat model. You can do this over and over again, a few times a week, a month, and you'll have a predictable process. Once you've done it a few times, you'll know how many networking events you have to go to get those 20 appointments, to get the 2 clients that you want, and that's what you'll do. You won't just blindly be going out networking. Once you have that system on play, then you can start adding other rinse and repeat models. But this is the fastest path to cash. The fastest path for cash for you is to pick up the phone and call people and follow up with people that you've already talked to and get them on your calendar for sessions. Hence the email, or just call and read the email as a script. To do a speaking gig with multiple people. So if you speak it in front of a group, and if you're already doing that, it's a fast way to do it. You do the same thing. You offer them a session. They come into your list that way. Okay, there's a whole system set up behind that, and I'll be teaching that at the High-End Sales Mastery event in October. And then there's also this one, which is networking. These are your fastest path to cash. My powerful belief is that your voice is the most powerful income creation tool on the planet. Problem is, most entrepreneurs aren't using it. Okay? So this whole process, the welcome email, when you look at it, it's very powerful. So don't skip that step. Don't think, oh, I don't want to send them the welcome email. That's the first thing you should do, because that's going to solidify you. It's going to establish you as a leader. Okay, it's going to establish the relationship and showing that you are the coach, you are guiding, you are leading, and the client is following. They're not coming into the conversation like, okay, well, here's what I want to know. They know that you have an agenda. It gives you credibility so the client can see that you know what you're doing. It creates rapport so that it helps the client to feel that trust and feel safe with you. And it gives you the opportunity to see if your client is coachable. So if people don't follow my instructions, I know they're not coachable and I don't want to hire them. Here's why it allows you to see if they're coachable. You've asked them to fill out an intake form. You've asked them to go look at your testimonials or reviews. And if you don't have them, don't worry about it. Okay? Whatever you have that I have inside of this letter, just use it. Okay? And then it sends them to your automated scheduling system for them to put themselves on your schedule. That in itself establishes you as a leader, gives you credibility. Okay, and then it gives the client the ability to look at you and see, because you're going to write in that scheduling system that if they don't show up for their session, they miss out. They can't do it again. So again, this establishes you as a leader, gives you credibility. It puts a value on your time, and it encourages your client to show up for themselves. All right, so the prepping for your session email is on here. I'm looking for questions. So questions should be in chat, because it's hard for me to grab them in Facebook because there's so much going on over there. So if you got a question, you want to give it to me in chat. Oh gosh, you guys are chatting away. Okay. Let's see. Okay, great question. Let me go up to the top and make sure I'm not missing anything. Moon Clerk, yes, Jillian. Moon Clerk is the payment processor that I talked about. Oh, thanks, Joe. You're such a helpful guy. That's your power zone. Okay, what are your suggestions for a contract, and do you normally incorporate a clause if they decide to change their mind? All right, let me see if I can find you, Keisha, because I want to make sure I understand this question. Yep, learning how to work this thing. There you are. Okay, Keisha, you should be unmuted. Can you hear me? Keisha? Going once, going twice. Okay, I'll try to answer this question the best way I can. Hopefully I'm getting this the right way. All right, so, okay, so her question was, hold on, I lost it. What's your suggestion for a contract, and do you normally incorporate an out clause if they decide to change their mind? For me, it depends on the program. My
Shameca?
suggestion, who's that?
Keisha?
Oh, hi.
Hey.
Okay, so what was your question?
My question was, normally when you sign up for a coaching session of some sort, there's usually a contract. And I was just wondering, would you recommend that? Because I also noticed that sometimes people will want to back out when they get so far in. And then what would be your suggestions around that?
Okay, so I have a couple of thoughts about that. I'll start with my suggestions. One, depending on the level of the program you want to have a contract, I don't usually have people sign a contract for my smaller, like if I'm doing an 8-week course or something like that, I don't take the time to send out a contract, but there is an agreement that, you know, can be typed up either on the web page or on when they pay. So you just have that on the form that says, you know, here are the terms of agreement. Generally, I will provide some sort of guarantee, and that's usually on the web page. So it'll tell you, is this a program that has a guarantee? Can you attend one session, and after the first session, if you don't like it, you know, then you can have a refund after that. You know, I can't help you. So you do want to have that, and how you word that, I'm not an attorney, so I don't want to give you, you know, that. I would suggest that you get with somebody get with an attorney and have them draft your agreements for you. And I have someone that I really, really think is supporting entrepreneurs at the level that we are and has an understanding of the business, that has some really great programs that can support you that aren't, you won't be paying an arm and a leg for an attorney. And that's, gosh, I can't remember her name, but her, is it Your Magical Business? What is it? I can't remember her. I'll get it and I'll post it in the playground. My brain is somewhere else, so I'm writing a note for myself. But she has, you know, some do-it-yourself kits and things like that that you can put together, and she understands this world that we're in, so she can support you with that, okay? Because if you don't do it through an attorney, then it might be messed up and you might be SOL anyway, okay?
Right.
But
Okay,
you wanna
thank you
have
for that.
Now, so my comment that I wanted to make about people backing out, you know, you got to make sure a couple of things, that people understand what it is that they're getting into and that they understand that they're all in. See, you're not going to get the results if you don't do what is required of you to do. And you need to finish the program in order to see if it actually worked. And so how can you language how you sell your things and language your agreement so that they get that understanding that in order for me to get a result, I need to finish the process and do what is required of me. So it seems like to me there's a little bit of missing buy-in in the sales process that you can get better at communicating.
I
Does
did.
that make sense? Does that sound about right, Keisha?
Yes, I did, all 3 days.
Okay. All right, so does that answer your question? Do you feel complete with that
I did it
answer?
under another company, but I can't remember the name of it.
Okay, so I'm gonna mute and go to the next question. At this point, just so that you guys know, I'm done with training. You know, you want to stay for the question and answer period, you can. I thought I muted everybody. Did that work? Yeah, okay. All right, let's see what's next in the queue. You guys are funny. I'm like reading all these bam, ka-ching. Okay. How would it work for a direct seller to push towards booking? So the same thing. It would be the same process. It may seem a little different than what is normally going on out there, but it will also take away some of that ick factor of, oh, you just want me to have a party, or you just want me to. So you're going to do the same process. You're going to say, this is what I help people do. So if it's about your product and it's the booking, then it's, what is your product? What's the problem your product solves for the client, for the prospect? That's what your power message is going to be. And you're still going to name your session, and you're still going to get them on that call. And then you're going to know your packages. So what are your packages? So a lot of times with direct sales, the direct sellers are looking at, okay, you can just get started for $5. Well, we know that $5 is probably not going to solve the entire the product or solve the problem. So you want to look at what packages you want to offer. What is the package you want to focus on for this month? That's going to give them the desired result, and offer that. Don't nickel and dime yourself off. Okay, does that make sense, Lisa? And it's the same process for enrolling people into your business underneath you who are going to sell. Same thing. What's the result that you want to show them how they're going to get? You get them on the call and you do the same thing. And don't go to your lowest end. You can get started for $25. What's the biggest package that they need to purchase, or the highest investment, so they can really come in as a business owner and make a difference in their business? And then once you get these numbers down, just like everybody else, you do that process multiple times. You do it over and over again, as many times as possible, to hit your goal. And then the next month, you wash it all off and you do it again. Okay? Hopefully that helped. Let me know, Lisa, if that helped you. I don't see you on the phones, so to make sure you're okay. Okay, so focusing on one thing in one-on-one conversation. What if my interested peeps have different needs that I can fill? Can I cater it to them? These are people I already know, or actuals or potentials. So here's what I hear when I hear that question, Teresa. I don't hear like, okay, can I maneuver to help someone? What I hear is, these people probably can't afford my higher end offering. You're making the decision for them already. And so I want to come in and offer them something different. So your focus in sales is, this is what I'm feeling. So you fill that program. So when you get on the call, yes, you offer them your highest end offer. You say, this is how I help people. Because remember, if the sales conversation is powerful, you're speaking to the results, you're speaking in emotional language, you're speaking to the benefit of how it's going to help them. And if they can see that, right? If they can see that, then they're going to say, yes, I'm all in. Let me figure out how I can make this happen, or I'm ready to do it. I know how to make it happen. Okay. If it's truly that that program doesn't fit their need, then you offer them something different. Because it does anybody no good to offer them something different just because you feel like, okay, it's a taster, if they're not going to get the results. So you got to be honest with them. You're not going to get the results at this level. This will get you started. You know, you want to get started right now, and you know, price is an issue, or you're not ready to go full in on this thing or that thing. So in the consultation process, in the sales conversation, remember, guys, you're the leader. You're not begging people for money. You're leading a horse to water. You're leading a dry and thirsty soul to a river that they can drink from, that is going to feed them and fill them and quench their thirst. So do it as if you are the Dalai Lama who is, you know, really helping people. When things come up for them, talk to them about it. Don't panic and go, okay, so here's another program that you might want to try. Just go, okay, well, let's look at this. You know, here's what I recommend and what I think will support you in getting that result that we talked about. So say whatever the result is, right back to them. Here's what I feel like will support you in getting there. I want you to do this program. This is the program that my expert status says will work for you. If they are not ready for that, then yes, by all means, you can have something else. But for some of you guys who are just getting started, there really isn't anything else, and you're just making up stuff. So just focus on the one thing, and you can come back later and scoop up the people who weren't ready. Because by then you'll have enough feedback to be able to know what is the lower level product that you need to give them. It's not, you're not just making it up per person. You're going, okay, 5 people weren't ready for this, but they need it. So like 5 people weren't ready for me to help them create their high-end sales funnel and process, but they really need to focus on their power message. So now I can come back and do a 4-hour virtual VIP day or half day and say, hey, you can come do this with me for $1,000 or for $500 when this other program is $5,000, but at least we'll get your power message dialed in and you'll know exactly what to do. Does that make sense? Yes. Too many things, not one focus. Teresa, are you on the phone? Yeah, call in. All right, any other questions? I'm looking in chat for questions. You guys with me? You got me here. So if you're stuck or something's in your brain and you need an answer to it, the best way to get it is right here, right now, laser coaching, just for you.
Facebook germination, Facebook expansion, or Facebook prosperity?
Germination? Okay, who's your ideal client?
People's business owners struggling to use Facebook.
Okay, so how do they describe the problem? When you hear them talk, what are they saying to you?
They share a post on their fan page, and Facebook isn't showing it to anybody.
Okay, and so when they're upset about it, what are they saying? Facebook isn't showing to anybody, so what?
There's Teresa's calling in, I think, now.
Okay, I'll get her in a second. We'll finish with you and then jump back.
Okay. Well, say that again.
So when they describe the problem, how do they describe it to you? What words are they using?
Like, they just don't see the value in Facebook. They're not getting leads from it. They're not getting clients from it. And when they're sharing posts on Facebook, like, they're getting really frustrated that, like, you know, they've got 40,000 followers, or maybe they've only got 200 followers, but 2 people are seeing it.
Mm-hmm. And what were your names again?
Germination, expansion, or prosperity.
I have a course for that. Germination, expansion, or prosperity. Here's why I'm going to say neither, because it's not their language. So they're not going to understand what you're trying to do. So remember,
Make more sense.
Results-based title, benefits. So focus on the results. What do they get out of it? And which one is this? Is this your program or your conversation?
It was just a program I thought about creating after having a conversation today with a person who had just gone through like a beta program for Facebook, and a bunch of other marketers were in it, and people were really struggling with it, and they like couldn't figure out like what converts and what works.
Yeah.
And like I was just at an event where they brought in this Facebook expert, and before he even talked, I turned to the person next to me and I was like, this is what he's going to teach. And that's exactly what he taught. So I was just like, why am I not teaching this?
Yeah. So like you just used the word convert, and that's why I keep asking you, what are they saying? So Facebook conversion might work, you know, made simple or easy. So what's the result?
I mean, the results are they're going to end up with more clients from Facebook.
Yeah.
Can
so I would
jump
say
in?
go back through.
Yeah, please, Wendy.
Yeah, I can hear Wendy's voice. Go back through the title templates that I gave you, and you really want to focus on the full-fledged, like this is a no-brainer. When they read it, they're like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm going to get. It might sound silly in the beginning, but it's going to draw in your ideal clients. Wendy, go ahead and chime in.
Sure. I have a course that I created in January. It's called, and I had named it something fancy, and then I went back and I thought, what do people really want? And so I called it How to Get 30 to 100 Facebook Likes Every Week with No Ads.
Yes.
And that, I mean, I've sold hundreds of copies. I've had hundreds of people enroll in the program.
Love that.
So I went right to exactly what they said is, how do I get more likes? I don't want to buy ads. And then I have a second one on how to get more engagement once you've got those new fans. So name it something really simple that, you know, a phrase they use all the time, even though it sounds generic. That's on Facebook when it's beginners. That's what they want, is they want it to be easy because they're feeling overwhelmed. That's just my experience.
Thank you for sharing that. So that was a good example of, Wendy, can you type that title in the chat box so everybody
So
can
that would not be my client either, because
okay.
Just because your approach is don't pay for ads.
Right.
And my approach is you pay for ads because you can blow it up and make it scalable.
Right.
Okay, so then yours is going to be how to use Facebook ads to blow up your business, or how to effectively use Facebook ads without spending a fortune to blow up your use.
Wendy, can I have you do me a favor? Can you just can you post your name to your program so that people can see that? So Joe, the gist of what Wendy is saying is very true and correct, and that's what I'm getting at, is use their words and just name your program what they get. That's why I kept asking you, what are they saying? What are they telling you when you're having these conversations? And name your program directly to the benefit of what they're going to get instead of the gist of the benefit. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, yep. I was following.
Okay, cool. So come back with something once you have that aha moment, throw it out there. And literally, you could probably throw it out there to your community too once you get like 2 or 3 of them and just say, hey, what would you guys buy? Okay?
So how about like convert Facebook ads?
Yes. But tell them, talk about the problem that they're having too. Don't be afraid of it being long.
I'd just rather keep it short for me.
But yeah, but it's not about you. That's not about you. It's about them.
Listen to Coach Wendy. Wendy's hijacking my coaching call.
I'm sorry.
Well, Wendy, that was my sarcasm.
Okay, I kind of got that based on the expression on your face.
Joe's sarcasm, you have to know him to get it after a while.
I think I got it now. We're good. He reminds me of my brother, so I'm all in. It's all good.
All right, so I want you to, Joe, I want you to come up with 3 different name titles. And I want you to not think about you, but I want you to think about those conversations and the problem that you solve, okay?
Okay.
So get 3 and post them for me. Can you do that by tomorrow? Yeah. All right, I'll be looking for it. So just for those of you guys who missed that, Wendy's title for her program was how to get 30 to 100 Facebook likes every week with no ads. What's the benefit of her program? You know, if you give her $500 for that program, you're paying $500 to learn how to get 30 to 100 Facebook likes every week with no ads. Got it? That's how I want you to name your programs. They don't have to all be long sentences like that, but they need to describe the benefit that the client is going to get. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. All right, before we sign off, guys, one more chance. I'm gonna go to the Power Playground real quick. I know it's not $500. I just threw that out there because that's what I want it to be, but Wendy's like, it's not 500, it's only 97. Oh, Teresa, okay, good. Teresa. Is this you, 918?
Yep.
Okay, hey love. Okay, so back to your question. Repeat it for me again.
You said ask you? Oh, I thought you said back to. What was my question? Oh, it was for people that have either contacted me or called me or messaged me on Facebook. And I don't know how they're contacting me, but they are. So what was my question? Now that I have you, now I've got stage fright. I've got stage fright.
You're not even on the stage.
Oh.
You got it? You remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was about focusing on one thing because you were saying, and to focus on has always been my thing, to focus on one thing because it's difficult for me. So when I have conversations or when I'm in conversation with people and they mention something that I know that I can help them with, specifically, like just there's only like maybe 2 or 3 things specifically that are vying for that pick one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's the women that we had talked about, that we have that whole avatar. And when I talk about it, people get it because it's so clear to me. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is the blood sugar and the health issue. Yeah. So if I'm talking with someone and they bring up something about their health, but if I'm supposed to stay focused on one thing, should I not cater it to fit what they are talking about that I know I can help them with and just stay completely laser focused? Or
wouldn't their health still be a part of that whole, trying to be better in their lives for themselves?
I guess maybe because I don't have whatever my statement thing is. So it should be general. It should be like a general statement, not something specific like what you were saying, like lose 5 pounds and whatever.
No, it should
not that I do that.
So here's the thing. There needs to be a distinction. I want everybody to get this. There should be a very clear distinction between choosing. What I'm showing you right now is quick rinse and repeat revenue model. This is going to give you one revenue model that you can focus on for right now that is not diluted. Okay? This is not the end all be all to your business. I mean, do you guys really think I'm like just a sales coach and all I teach is sales? There's so much more depth to what my clients need and what they get as a result of working with me, but sales is the vehicle that I use. That's the in the door, step in, here's the program that I'm offering you. So the same will go for you. If money is the issue right now and you need to create revenue and you're overwhelmed from looking at the end and the finish line of growing your business to this big vision that's been put in your spirit and on your heart, and it's overwhelming you to the point that you are stagnant, stuck, and staying still, I'm saying focus on one thing and create revenue around that one thing right now. So if a client comes to you and they say, I need my nails polished and you can polish nails, you most likely are not going to offer them a program to polish their nails because you can do it. Because what that does is that puts you in a state of chasing money and a lack mentality that I need to take any client that comes to me for any reason, for anything that I can do. Now, if you keep having tons and tons of clients that are coming to you for the health thing and none are coming to you for the other thing, that's an indication that you might need to switch your model and your focus. The second stage of that is this: when you're dealing with women and them being able to be their best selves and show up powerfully in the world and, you know, to live a life that they've desired to live, is it health part of that? Is it money part of that? There's so many elements that are part of that. So you can still sell the same packages to people for the same reasons and give them the component of health that you have been certified in and that you know how to do also as a result to get them to where they're trying to go.
So how do you do that when you're now, I'm going off of that to the, like I'm at an event conversation. How do I? You're
going to need to come up with your power statement. Once you have your power statement and you're focused, so don't move. Part of the issue that you're having right now is you're moving to the problems that you could potentially have that you don't have yet. And it's blocking you from moving forward to step one today. So I want to encourage you to always keep your face in what's my next step that I should be focused on. So your next step is, what's my power statement? Because you're asking me a what if question right now that isn't happening or hasn't happened based on what you perceive may happen because you have this conundrum of what am I choosing? Do you understand?
Right. Right. And I think I should stay with my one thing that we had already talked about that's already planned, and
yeah. And so for a lot of people, Teresa, I want to thank you for sharing that, because that's a lot of problems for a lot of people. They look ahead so far that they can't make a decision to move forward in the now that will get them the revenue, that will get them the potential clients, because they're like, well, what if I do this and then this happens? You know, what if I get to a networking meeting and people decide that they don't want to have strategy sessions with me? So now they're not saying their strategy session statement. So what's the first step? The first step is your power message. Once you get your power message, the next step is decide what kind of program you're going to offer. So that's all you should be doing, is going through your step-by-step model that I just gave you and creating everything. And once you've gone through that and you start to use it, if the issue comes up, then you deal with it at that point. But right now we're dealing on a what if that hasn't happened, and it's keeping you stuck. You can't make a decision based on something that's fiction.
Yeah, I picked one thing, and then I thought, well, this one thing might be better. And so, yeah, and it did. It stopped me, and then I started thinking about all of that stuff. So, yeah, and I remember what you said, too, about the discovery session. It's really not them interviewing me. It's me interviewing them, so that helps. And I think that's powerful, and it makes me feel more confident and in a place of power too, because I don't really want to work with everybody. I can't work with everybody, and everybody's personality doesn't mesh with me. And there are certain people groups that I don't mesh well with them. So it would be frustrating for me to work with them. So I'm okay with that. So.
And you want to make sure in that conversation that it's not just like I'm interviewing you or you're interviewing me, that you are actually walking them through the process of seeing where they are right now and where they want to be, and how you can help them get there, how you bridge the gap.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Yeah.
All right, so are you good? You know what your next step is?
Yep. Get my power statement and then create my offers.
Yeah, step by step by step. Your job is to go step by step by step. Don't look at the end picture. What's my next step? What's my next step? What's my next step? And then when you get to the end of my paper, your next step is going to be go to a networking event, get one on the calendar. Then it's going to be get to the networking event. Then it's going to be find somebody to talk to and share this statement with. Only at that point, Teresa, will you even be able to know if it's working or not.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Yep.
All right, go get them.
Thank you. I do have one to get. I'm calling her today.
Okay.
Okay, love you. Thanks.
What happens? Go ahead and mute yourself, or I can do it. All right.
I did it.
Okay, cool. Okay, last chance, everybody, for Q&A here. And then I have just a takeaway assignment that I want to give you guys. Let's see. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. As if I didn't give you enough assignments to do. But I want to focus you on something. All right, I want to thank everybody who asked questions because we all learn from each other as those questions are being answered, different things come up. Wendy and Joe, thanks for being helpful and chiming in and sharing your knowledge and expertise in the areas that you have in your businesses. That's always helpful too. And that's why it's really good to be in a group of people, not trying to do it alone, but you know, learning from each other. You learn faster that way. So here are the 3 questions that I want you to answer for yourself. And I want you to think about it this way. Are you really ready to fulfill your potential at a greater level? Are you really ready based on everything we've talked about today? And if so, are you willing to do it by beginning to approach sales from a different perspective? Not doing the same old thing, but doing it from a different result and getting outside of your comfort zone. And are you approaching sales as a duty or as an opportunity? Like, I have to make sales, I have to have these sales conversations because that's the way I need to get clients, or people need to decide whether or not they want to pay me, or is it an opportunity? Because I view sales as an opportunity, right? It's an opportunity to not only touch and move people across the globe, which is I so happily get to do, but to inspire them to create something that they never had before, whether it's in their body, like Teresa was talking about, in their businesses, like Joe and like Wendy do, in their sexuality and their well-being, like Jillian does, something they never had before. The bigger future that they're looking for themselves, the biggest life change that they're looking for. And I want to encourage you to be powerful in that, because the choice is yours. Be looking for opportunities to dive deeper and to be supported as you create your sales systems and these revenue models that I'm talking about in your business and take your business to the next level. Okay, that is what I want for you. So I want you to name your number for success. What's that dollar amount? Try to do it in monthly or an annually, probably monthly, because you can do a 30-day cycle, then rinse and repeat and do another 30-day cycle. So if you look at it like that, you'll make sure that you're having enough conversations, you have enough active marketing activities going on to sustain you and help you reach your goals. And then I want you to touch and move and inspire more people. Okay, I want you to know how to be productive at the level that's necessary and needed for you to get there. That's what I want for you. So just for those of you who may not know, if you're in California, I've got a 1-day sales intensive that I'm going to be teaching on October 29th. If you want to look at that, it's at sellmore2015.com. And then on October 1st through 3rd, that's going to be one of the most explosive teachings that I've ever done. And what I want you to know is that many people are going to listen to what I say today, but only the true power players are going to rise to the occasion and choose to do something that's different and prolific for their business. That is what I want for you. I want to teach you the ultimate formula for success so that you can sell more, so that you can get to limitless income, so that you can have extraordinary impact and that superior execution that we were talking about. So if you're interested in that 3-day intensive, you want to apply at commandmoresales.com, because I'm only taking 12 individuals that day. And over 3 days, I'm going to walk you through breakthrough sales and marketing strategies. I'm going to teach you how to have communication that sells. And then I'm going to show you the systems and the strategies that can help you get to the point where you can be seen, heard, and get paid by more people. Period. End of discussion. All right. I love you guys. I'm so honored, really, truly, that you allow me to be your coach, and to, I'm honored that I just get to lead this group of powerful players in this entrepreneurial game. And so I will see you guys in the playground. If you don't see the 2 documents that I just shared with you, one of them is called Who You Help Action Plan and Networking Strategy. That's in the Power Playground. The other one is called Your First or Next 5K. So all of the step-by-steps that I've just given to you are actually in the Power Playground, already ready for you in the file section. You can pull it from there. If you have a problem locating it, just let me know and I'll make sure that it gets bumped to the top, and that you do have access to it, but you must try first. All right, guys, like I said, love you to death. Excited for you. I want to hear what's going on for the next 7 days. You can post all of your steps or your full plan, and I will review it. Don't email, inbox me. Don't put it in Messenger. Post it in the playground, and I will definitely respond and review any of the copy that you have, the language that you're using, and help you make it more powerful. But I want to hear how this works for you. So the goal that I want you to have is you need to be going to a minimum of 3 networking events a week for the next 30 days. 3 networking events for the week for the next 30 days. So get on the computer, pull out your calendar, start Googling, see what's in your area, get from behind your computer and go meet some people. All right, loves, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.